All right, what's going on, everyone? Brian here, and this is my WWE SmackDown recap for tonight's episode. So let's get right into it. Of course, this week has been a announcements week for WWE. Started off this past Monday with the man Becky Lynch announcing she is going to become a mom, that she is expecting. Her and Seth. Very happy for them. So a big congratulations go out to both of them on their new family, starting their new family. Of course, with this, Becky had to vacate the Raw Women's Championship, which she did, to Asuka. So Asuka is the new Raw Women's Champion. Then we moved on to Wednesday, where two announcements were made. Number one was that Sami Zayn is no longer the Intercontinental Champion and that a tournament will be held to determine a new champion. And that started on tonight's episode with two first-round matches. And I'll get into that in just a moment. The other announcement on Wednesday was made on NXT, and that is that on June 7th, Sunday, June 7th, NXT Takeover, the NXT Takeover event will be known as NXT Takeover in Your House. Of course, yesterday was the 25th anniversary of the first ever In Your House event that happened in 1995, which was headlined by a WWF, at the time was known as the WWF Championship match between Big Daddy Cool Diesel and Psycho Sid. Also on the card was there was a King of the Ring qualifying match. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was between Mabel and Adam Bomb. Jeff Jarrett and Rhodey took on Razor Ramon. There was one other match that I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Those were the three. That was also the night where Bret Hart wrestled twice in one night. He first wrestled Hakushi and then wrestled Jerry the King Lawler. So NXT TakeOver in Your House happening Sunday, June 7th on the WWE Network. So that announcement was made by the Road Dogg, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of matches shape up for that particular card or that particular show from NXT. Which brings us to tonight. And tonight's episode of SmackDown comes off the heels of Money in the Bank this past Sunday that saw Otis win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which occurred at the corporate headquarters on Sunday. And Otis won that for the men's side. So he was on the start of the show, or the start of this show. Miz TV, Miz and John Morrison hosted Miz TV. They interviewed and kind of like insulted Otis, talking about his childhood, showing old child pictures of him. This would lead to Miz basically saying that, Otis is Mr. Money in the Bank. He doesn't look like someone who should be Mr. Money in the Bank. This would lead to Miz and Morrison challenging Otis to a tag match. Tucker was not at the building, or was not at SmackDown tonight. He was sick or something like that, or he was not feeling good. So then Miz and Morrison told Otis that he had to find a partner by the end of the night to face them in a tag match. So who did Otis choose or go and ask? He would ask Sheamus. Sheamus would say no. Then he would go to the current Universal Champion, Braun Strowman, and asked him to be his tag team partner. And this came at the request or the advice of Mandy Rose, Otis's girlfriend. So Otis asked Braun Strowman. Strowman said he would think about it, and the rest is history. Strowman would accept, and he would team with Otis in the main event to face Miz and Morrison. There was also two first round matches in the Intercontinental Championship tournament. The first one was a WrestleMania rematch between Elias and King Corbin. Altogether an okay match. Elias picked up the win after Corbin destroyed Elias's guitar on the outside of the ring, hitting it across the ring post. This made Elias mad. He lost it. He gave a knee to the face, and then delivered a small package to pick up the win. Dana Brooke picked up another big victory over Naomi. Of course, Dana Brooke defeated Naomi to qualify for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And the commentary team had brought up that fact that maybe Dana Brooke has Naomi's number as far as defeating her. So that was a big victory for Dana Brooke. Charlotte Flair, the current NXT Women's Champion, she was in the house for SmackDown tonight. She cut a promo talking about her accomplishments, how she was the greatest, and that would bring out SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley and her best friend Sasha Banks. They would confront Charlotte. One thing would lead to another, where a match would be made for next week between Charlotte and Bayley, champion versus champion. Then Charlotte brought up about Sasha being Bayley's lackey. Is she happy with being that? Is she happy with being Bayley's sidekick? And that was it. So that's a match signed for next week. Champion versus champion Bayley, the SmackDown Women's Champion, taking on the NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. That'll happen next week. In the second match of the tournament for this week, it was Daniel Bryan taking on Drew Gulak. These two have become friends, so it was a battle of friends facing off against each other. Daniel Bryan would win via submission when he locked in a leg submission hold, and that is what made Drew Gulak tap out. He then would cut a promo saying that he wants the Intercontinental Championship that he last held in 2015 before he was forced to vacate it due to retiring. And he basically said about he wants to be champion. He wants to make it the main championship of SmackDown, defend it every week against who he doesn't care, whoever wants to step up. So that was it for that. We would hear once again from the mysterious hacker who has been sending messages that the truth will be heard. Who will be next to feel or to have their truth revealed about them? We'll have to wait and see. Miz and Morrison, they would be defeated by Braun Strowman and Otis. Of course, Braun Strowman's still the Universal Champion after this past Sunday, where he defeated Bray Wyatt to retain the title. Otis, of course, Mr. Money in the Bank. They did kind of tease after the match of Otis going after Strowman because Mandy Rose had came out, and right when Strowman turned around to look at Otis, Otis started like, "Oh, don't worry, it's a joke. It's a joke. We're just joking." So I don't know how to feel about that situation because I feel like Mandy's going to want Otis to cash in when Strowman least expects it. So, but it is what it is. I mean, the way they had that set up, they kind of teased that. It kind of was suspicious there. But now Mandy and Otis's attention turns to next week, where in a mixed tag match, it's going to be Otis and Mandy Rose taking on their rivals, Sonya Deville and Dolph Ziggler. Also next week on SmackDown, we're going to see Bayley versus Charlotte Flair, champion versus champion. And then the final 2 first-round matches in the Intercontinental Championship Tournament will take place as Sheamus will go one-on-one with Jeff Hardy, and Shinsuke Nakamura will take on the phenomenal AJ Styles of Monday Night Raw because of the brand-to-brand invitational or invitation they have now. Instead of the wild card rule, they're calling it brand-to-brand invitation. So people from SmackDown can appear on Raw. Raw superstars can appear on SmackDown at any given time. So that was pretty much it. I'm trying to see if I missed anything else, but that's what I had written down. So overall, an okay episode of SmackDown. It is what it is. Like I said, I haven't watched the last few weeks. I just started watching this week. So it is what it is. So with that being said, this has been my SmackDown recap for tonight's episode. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.